Stop right there. The problem is not that nobody sees you. The problem is that you are trying to be seen before you are formed. You are asking for a platform when you have not yet allowed purpose to produce capacity. You are asking for recognition when discipline has not finished its work in you. You are asking the world to applaud a version of you that God is still trying to correct, still trying to refine, still trying to mature. Listen to me carefully. You were not born to be noticed. You were born to become necessary. There is a difference. Being noticed is cheap. Being necessary is costly. Being noticed can happen by accident. Being necessary happens by assignment. Being noticed may get you attention for a moment, but being necessary makes your life valuable to a generation. A candle can be noticed in a dark room, but a well becomes necessary in a dry land. Stop trying to be the candle when God is digging a well inside of you. Influence is not noise. Influence is not followers. Influence is not applause. Influence is not people clapping because you appeared in front of them. Real influence is usefulness under assignment. It is when your gift solves a problem. It is when your presence carries weight. It is when your words have substance because your life has been processed. It is when people do not just admire you, they are helped by you. That is influence. Not popularity, not performance, not public approval. Usefulness under assignment. The world is addicted to announcement, but purpose is revealed through evidence. Everybody wants to tell you what they are about to do. Everybody wants to post the dream, announce the vision, declare the next move, show the behind the scenes, and invite people into a process they have not even submitted to yet. But purpose does not need noise to prove it is real. Purpose leaves evidence. Fruit is evidence. Discipline is evidence. Consistency is evidence. Character is evidence. Capacity is evidence. When God is building something in you, He does not start by giving you a microphone. He starts by giving you responsibility. Now here is where you must be honest with yourself. If you want attention more than transformation, you would decorate weakness instead of developing strength. You will learn how to look gifted while remaining undisciplined. You will learn how to sound deep while staying shallow. You will learn how to present success while avoiding sacrifice. And that is dangerous, because anything you decorate but refuse to develop will eventually embarrass you. A painted wall with no foundation still collapses. A polished image with no inner order still breaks under pressure. Do not misunderstand me. I am not saying you should hide from life. I am not saying you should be timid, afraid, or small. No, that is not what I am saying. I am saying stop confusing exposure with elevation. Stop confusing attention with authority. Stop confusing being seen with being sent. There are some doors you are not ready for because the private man is not yet strong enough to carry the public moment. And God loves you too much to let premature visibility destroy what private formation was meant to develop. The goal is not to be noticed. The goal is to become so aligned with purpose that your life becomes necessary. When you are necessary, you do not have to beg for attention. When you are necessary, you do not have to chase rooms. When you are necessary, you do not have to perform for people who were never assigned to understand you. Your fruit will speak. Your consistency will speak. Your assignment will speak. Discipline will build you in private, and purpose will announce you in public. If this teaching is already correcting your spirit, stay with it. Subscribe and share it with someone who is tired of performing and ready to become what God designed. Not someone who wants more attention. Someone who wants more alignment. Someone who is ready to stop decorating weakness and start developing strength. And I want you to make a declaration, not as a slogan, but as a decision. Write these words: I will let purpose announce what discipline builds. Write it because your spirit needs to hear your will come into agreement with your assignment. I will let purpose announce what discipline builds. Not performance, not begging, not chasing, not pretending. Purpose will announce what discipline builds. Now, rule number one: stop announcing what has not been built. I want you to hear that again, because this one rule can save your destiny from unnecessary warfare. Stop announcing what has not been built. Stop telling everybody what you're about to do. Stop giving people access to a vision that has not yet developed a skeleton. Stop presenting a blueprint when you have not laid a foundation. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not fear. Silence is not insecurity. Silence is strategy. The immature person thinks silence means nothing is happening. The mature person understands silence is where the most important things happen. A baby is formed in silence. A seed is formed in darkness. A foundation is laid beneath the surface. Nobody applauds concrete while it is being poured underground. But when the building rises, everybody depends on what they could not see. That is how purpose works. God does not begin with exhibition. He begins with construction. But we live in a generation addicted to announcement. People announce the book before they have developed the discipline to write one page consistently. They announce the business before they have learned stewardship. They announce the ministry before they have submitted their character to correction. They announce the relationship before they have healed from dysfunction. They announce the dream, the move, the plan, the vision, the next level, the next season, and then wonder why they feel drained before anything is built. Listen to me carefully. Some people are spending more energy describing what they are going to do than becoming the kind of person who can do it. They have language without structure. They have excitement without discipline. They have vision without capacity. They have declarations without development. And I am not against declaration, but declaration without construction is noise. Faith speaks, yes, but faith also works. Faith without works is dead. And many people are not walking in faith. They are walking in performance dressed up as faith. Do not misunderstand me. I am not saying never speak. I am not saying never share. I am not saying you must become isolated, suspicious, and afraid of everybody. No, that is not what I am saying. I am saying stop confusing premature exposure with obedience. There is a time to speak and there is a time to build. There is a time to testify and there is a time to be processed. There is a time for the fruit to be seen and there is a time for the root to go deeper. If you expose the root too early, you do not prove growth. You kill it. When you show the blueprint before you have the foundation, you invite opinions from people who were never assigned to build with you. And this is where many people lose their strength. They take a God-given assignment and put it before people with no spiritual sensitivity, no construction experience, no covenant connection, and no capacity to understand what God is doing. Then they become discouraged because somebody who never carried the burden criticized the blueprint. Why are you letting spectators edit your assignment? Why are you letting commentators discourage your construction? Why are you handing sacred plans to casual people? There is a difference between counsel and commentary. Counsel comes from builders. Commentary comes from bystanders. Counsel has wisdom. Commentary has noise. Counsel sharpens you. Commentary distracts you. Counsel is assigned to your growth. Commentary is addicted to your reaction. And if you do not know the difference, you will give equal access to people who should never have been in the room. This is why dreams die in the comment section. Not because the dream was weak, but because the dreamer needed reaction more than formation. Somebody posted too soon. Somebody shared too much. Somebody needed likes more than they needed roots. Somebody needed applause more than they needed endurance. Somebody wanted confirmation from people before they had confirmation in their own spirit. And when the applause did not come, they assumed the assignment was not real. That is a lie from the pit of hell designed to make you abandon what God placed inside you before it has time to mature. A seed does not need applause in the soil. A seed does not need people clapping over the dirt. A seed does not need a public announcement that it is about to become a tree. A seed needs darkness. It needs pressure. It needs moisture. It needs time. And to the ignorant eye, the seed looks buried. But to the wise eye, the seed is being positioned. What looks like burial is often preparation. What looks like silence is often strategy. What looks like nothing is happening may be the most important stage of development. You keep asking God to show people what He is doing, and God keeps asking you to trust Him while He does it where they cannot see. Because if you cannot survive hiddenness, you are not ready for visibility. If you cannot build without applause, you will break when criticism comes. If you cannot obey without an audience, your obedience is still too dependent on approval. God is not trying to hide your gift because He is ashamed of it. He is protecting the process that will make the gift useful. Silence is maturity. Silence says, I do not need to prove every move. Silence says, I do not need to explain every season. Silence says, I do not need public agreement to continue private obedience. Silence says, what God is building in me is too important to be exposed to every voice, every opinion, every curiosity, and every insecure person who wants access without assignment. So stop announcing what has not been built. Stop feeding your vision to people who only know how to consume. Stop using your future as content. Stop turning your assignment into entertainment. Build first. Become first. Develop first. Let the roots go down before the branches go up. Let the foundation settle before the structure rises. Let discipline prove that the dream can survive more than excitement. Because silence protects the process, but discipline gives the process structure. It is not enough to be quiet. Some people are silent, but they are still lazy. Some people are private, but they are still undisciplined. Some people are hidden, but they are not building anything. So the next rule is not just about shutting your mouth. It is about training your life. If silence guards the seed, discipline cultivates the soil. Rule number 2, build discipline when nobody is clapping. Now listen to me carefully. Because silence without discipline becomes hiding. Privacy without discipline becomes laziness. Hiddenness without discipline becomes an excuse. Some people say, I am in a hidden season, but they are not developing anything. They are not studying. They are not praying. They are not training. They are not correcting their habits. They are not strengthening their mind. They are not stewarding their time. They are just invisible. And invisibility is not the same as preparation. Discipline is obedience to purpose when emotion is absent. Discipline is obedience to purpose when applause is absent. Discipline is obedience to purpose when convenience is absent. Discipline is not what you do because you feel inspired. Discipline is what you do because you are assigned. Anybody can move when they are excited. Anybody can work when they are encouraged. Anybody can show up when people are clapping, calling, celebrating, and watching. But the real test of purpose is what you do when nobody notices, nobody thanks you, nobody posts you, nobody invites you, and nobody seems to care. That is where authority is born. Private discipline is the price of public authority. You cannot carry weight in public if you have no order in private. You cannot demand influence while your habits are in rebellion. You cannot ask God for a platform while refusing a schedule. You cannot claim you are called to something great and then treat your mornings, your mind, your body, your finances, your study, your prayer life, and your focus like they do not matter. That is not faith. That is foolishness with spiritual language on it. Stop right there. I know what you are thinking. You think discipline is punishment. You think discipline is restriction. You think discipline is God taking something from you. No. Discipline is not God stealing your freedom. Discipline is God protecting your future from your moods. Discipline is the structure that keeps your purpose from collapsing under pressure. Discipline is the fence around your assignment. Discipline is the proof that you respect what you carry. Because you cannot say you value your purpose while treating your habits casually. You cannot say your assignment is sacred while giving your best energy to distractions. You cannot say you were born for something significant while living like your time is common. If the purpose is valuable, the preparation must be serious. If the assignment is weighty, the discipline must be non-negotiable. If the future matters, then today matters. Because the future is not built in the future. The future is built in the daily decisions you keep repeating when nobody is watching. Success is not one dramatic moment. Success is not one open door. Success is not one viral post, one lucky break, one powerful introduction, one emotional weekend, or one impressive announcement. Success is a series of private decisions repeated until they become character. It is choosing focus when distraction is easier. It is choosing study when entertainment is available. It is choosing prayer when anxiety is loud. It is choosing preparation when others are performing. It is choosing responsibility when excuses are convenient. That is how greatness is formed. Desire imagines the future, but discipline purchases it one decision at a time. Desire says, I want to be strong. Discipline wakes up and trains. Desire says, I want wisdom. Discipline studies when the mind is tired. Desire says, I want a better life. Discipline refuses the habits that build the old one. Desire can dream about the promise, but discipline pays the price for the promise. Desire is emotional. Discipline is governmental. Desire can begin a thing, but discipline is what finishes it. And this is where many people expose themselves. They have desire, but they do not have discipline. They want the result, but not the routine. They want the crown, but not the correction. They want the harvest, but not the planting. They want the authority, but not the obedience. They want the microphone, but not the maturity. They want the stage, but not the secret place. They want people to call them gifted, but they do not want to become governed. Let me tell you something. If you need people to clap before you start, you are not ready to carry what God assigned to you. If you need validation to obey, your obedience is too fragile. If you need constant encouragement to continue, your roots are not deep enough. If you quit every time nobody notices you, then your motivation is not purpose, it is attention. And attention is too weak to carry destiny. You must learn to work when they are sleeping, study when they are scrolling, pray when they panic, prepare when they party, build when they are busy announcing, read when they are reacting, train when they are talking, save when they are spending, heal when they are pretending, grow when they are performing. Because while they are chasing applause, you are building capacity. While they are trying to be seen, you are becoming necessary. While they are using energy to convince people, you are using energy to become competent. Do not despise the small disciplines. Do not despise the quiet repetitions. Do not despise the boring obedience. Boring does not mean powerless. Repetition does not mean nothing is happening. A tree grows by repeating invisible processes. Your body gets strong by repeated resistance. Your mind gets sharp by repeated study. Your spirit gets stable by repeated surrender. Character is not built by an event. Character is built by rhythm. So stop waiting to feel like it. Feelings are terrible masters. Feelings change with weather, hunger, criticism, tiredness, and memory. If you let your feelings lead your purpose, you will become inconsistent, unstable, and easy to move. Purpose must lead your feelings. Assignment must govern your appetite. Discipline must tell your emotions. You may be present, but you are not in charge. This is why private discipline matters. It proves you can be trusted before you are exposed. It proves you can obey without being celebrated. It proves you can steward pressure without becoming reckless. It proves you can carry responsibility without needing a crowd to keep you motivated. God does not just prepare your gift, He prepares your capacity, He prepares your character, He prepares your endurance. Because the same visibility you are praying for will destroy you if discipline has not strengthened you. Build discipline when nobody is clapping. Build order when nobody is impressed. Build consistency when nobody is counting. Build spiritual strength when nobody is watching. Let your private life become organized around your assignment. Let your habits agree with your prayers. Let your routine prove your respect for purpose. Because discipline builds strength. But understand this, strength attracts attention, and attention brings voices. Once you begin to grow, people will talk. People will question. People will criticize. People will project their fear, their insecurity, their jealousy, and their confusion onto what God is building in you. So discipline is not enough by itself. The strength you build must be protected from the wrong voices. And that brings us to the next rule. Rule number 3. Guard the blueprint from critics who were never assigned to build. Now listen carefully, because this is where many disciplined people still lose momentum. They finally stop announcing too early. They finally start building in private. They finally begin to develop order, consistency, strength, and focus. But then they make one dangerous mistake. They take the blueprint God gave them and place it in the hands of people who have no assignment to build it, no wisdom to protect it, no fruit to confirm it, and no spiritual sensitivity to discern it. Every assignment has a blueprint. Your life is not random. Your gift is not accidental. Your burden is not meaningless. Your vision is not just ambition. When God gives you an assignment, He also gives you a design. He gives you a pattern. He gives you a burden, a direction, a grace, a problem you are called to solve, a people you are called to serve, a lane you are called to occupy. But understand this, every blueprint requires protection before it requires presentation. You do not frame the blueprint before the building is approved. You do not leave the plans outside in the rain. You do not hand sacred construction documents to people walking past the site with no helmet, no tools, no responsibility, and no covenant with the project. Stop giving access to people because they are available. Availability is not assignment. Curiosity is not wisdom. Opinion is not counsel. Some people only want to know what you are building so they can feel important enough to critique it. Some people are not listening to understand. They are listening to locate weakness. They are listening to find something to question, something to mock, something to compare, something to carry into another conversation. And you, because you are excited, because you are lonely, because you want agreement, because you want somebody to clap before there is fruit, you keep opening sacred things to casual people. That is immaturity. There is a difference between counsel and commentary. Counsel sharpens your direction. Commentary scatters your focus. Counsel comes with wisdom. Commentary comes with noise. Counsel asks, how can I help you? Obey. Commentary asks, who do you think you are? Counsel sees the weight of the assignment. Commentary sees only the weakness of the person carrying it. Counsel is interested in construction. Commentary is addicted to reaction. If you cannot tell the difference, you will confuse a critic with a coach, a spectator with a mentor, and a doubter with a discerner. You need counsel. Do not become proud. Do not become uncorrectable. Do not become so spiritual that nobody can speak into your life. That is not maturity. That is deception with confidence on it. Wise people receive counsel. Wise people seek correction. Wise people submit their thinking to proven voices. But counsel must come from builders, not spectators. Counsel must come from people with fruit, not people with endless opinions. Counsel must come from people who have carried responsibility, survived process, produced evidence, and demonstrated character. Show your blueprint to builders. Show it to mentors. Show it to people whose life has fruit in the area where you need wisdom. But do not show it to people addicted to criticism. People allergic to courage. People who have never built anything but have strong opinions about everybody else's construction. Even Jesus did not give everybody the same level of access. Stop right there. Think about that. He loved the multitude, but He did not explain everything to the multitude. He had disciples, but even among the disciples there were moments where only a few went further. Why? Because love does not mean equal access. Compassion does not mean unlimited access. Ministry does not mean emotional exposure to everybody. Intimacy and assignment require discernment. If the Son of God practiced selective access, who taught you that maturity means telling everybody everything? That is a lie from the pit of hell designed to make you call exposure authenticity and call lack of boundaries humility. No, boundaries are not pride. Boundaries are stewardship. And stewardship is responsibility before God. When you guard your process, you are not saying you are better than people. You are saying the assignment is too valuable to be handled carelessly. When you protect your peace, you are not being arrogant. You are being responsible. When you limit access, you are not rejecting people. You are obeying wisdom. Not every person who loves you can handle what God is forming in you. Not every person who knows your history can speak to your destiny. Not every person who was present in your past has authority in your future. Some people do not hate you. Hear me clearly. Some people do not hate you. They simply do not have the capacity to understand what God is forming in you. Their world is too small for your assignment. Their fear is too loud for your vision. Their experience is too limited for your obedience. Their insecurity is too active for your growth. So when you tell them what God is building, they do not respond with faith. They respond with limitation. They say, "Are you sure?" They say, "That seems too much." They say, "Who will listen to you?" They say, "What if it fails?" And if your roots are not deep, you will mistake their capacity problem for a confirmation problem. Do not let people with no blueprint talk you out of yours. Guard your process like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Guard the conversations around your assignment. Guard the voices that enter your mind. Guard the people who have permission to correct you. Guard your environment. Guard your calendar. Guard your peace. Guard your obedience. Stop calling everybody when God speaks to you. Stop needing 10 opinions before you obey one instruction. Stop handing holy things to casual people and then acting surprised when they treat them casually. Here is the filter. Are they a builder or are they a spectator? Do they have fruit or only opinions? Do they sharpen your obedience or feed your confusion? Do they challenge you toward maturity or drain your courage? Do they protect what is sacred or turn everything into commentary? If they cannot help build, strengthen, clarify, correct, or cover the assignment, they do not need access to the blueprint. This does not mean you become suspicious. It means you become discerning. Suspicion is fear. Discernment is wisdom. Suspicion says, everybody is against me. Discernment says, everybody is not assigned to me. There is a difference. You can love people without giving them access. You can honor people without giving them authority. You can forgive people without giving them the blueprint. Boundaries are sacred because purpose is sacred. So guard what God is building. Protect the blueprint before you present the building. Let the wrong voices remain outside the construction site. Let the critics talk from a distance. Let the spectators wonder. Let the doubters doubt. You keep building with those who are assigned, those who are proven, those who carry wisdom, those who have fruit. But understand this, once you guard the blueprint, another temptation will come. You will look across the street and start measuring your foundation by somebody else's building. You will compare your assignment to another person's architecture. You will be tempted to imitate what appears successful instead of obeying what is original. And that is why the next rule is critical. You must refuse imitation and return to your original design. Rule number 4. Refuse imitation and return to your original design. Now listen to me carefully, because this is where destiny gets stolen without people even realizing it. The enemy of your purpose is not always failure. Sometimes the enemy of your purpose is success in the wrong lane. Sometimes the danger is not that you do nothing. Sometimes the danger is that you become very busy becoming someone God never designed you to be. You can be applauded and still be misplaced. You can be popular and still be out of alignment. You can be celebrated by people and still be grieving the manufacturer who designed you. You were not manufactured as a copy. You were not manufactured as an echo. You were not manufactured as a reaction to another person's success. You were not placed on this earth to become a public imitation of somebody else's assignment. God did not create you randomly and then ask the crowd to define you. He did not form you with precision and then wait for social media to tell you who you are. He did not put a burden in your spirit, a gift in your life, a history in your hands, and a design in your nature so you could spend your days borrowing another person's blueprint. Design implies intent. Intent implies assignment. If something is designed, it was designed for a purpose. A chair is designed to carry weight. A key is designed to open something. A seed is designed to produce after its own kind. Nothing manufactured with intelligence exists without intention. So if God designed you, then you are not an accident. If God wired you, then your difference is not a defect. If God placed something in you, then your life has an assignment that popularity did not create and rejection cannot cancel. Stop right there. I know what you are thinking. You think if you do not copy what is working for someone else, you will be left behind. You think if you do not sound like them, dress like them, build like them, brand like them, preach like them, lead like them, move like them, then nobody will notice you. That is a lie from the pit of hell, designed to make you betray your originality for temporary attention. Imitation may get you reaction, but it will never give you authority. Copies can be noticed, but originals become necessary. The tragedy of imitation is that it makes you abandon your own soil to go perform in another person's garden. You start comparing your seed to their harvest. You start comparing your beginning to their evidence. You start comparing your hidden season to their public fruit. And when you do that, you insult the season God has you in. A seed does not become confused because another tree is bearing fruit. A seed does not leave the soil because another branch is visible. A seed obeys its own process. It stays where it was planted. It breaks open in darkness. It becomes what was already inside it. Comparison is disrespect for design. Comparison says, God, what you gave me is not enough. Comparison says, my wiring is inferior. Comparison says, my timing is wrong. Comparison says, I would rather be admired for pretending than developed through obedience. That is dangerous. Because when you compare long enough, you will eventually imitate. And when you imitate long enough, you will eventually lose the sound of your own assignment. Your fingerprint is different. Your wiring is different. Your burden is different. Your grace is different. Your history is different. Your assignment is different. The problem you are called to solve may not be the problem they are called to solve. The people you are called to serve may not be the people they are called to serve. The thing that breaks your heart may not break theirs. The thing that gives you righteous anger may not move them. The thing you can carry with endurance may crush someone else. The thing they can carry may not belong on your shoulders. That is why you must return to your original design. Stop asking who is getting the most attention. Ask, what was I built to solve? Stop asking, what is everybody clapping for? Ask, who was I created to serve? Stop asking, what looks successful? Ask, what am I assigned to carry? Purpose becomes practical when you pay attention to what you are built to solve, serve, carry, create, and restore. Look at the burden God gave you. Look at the gifts that keep showing up. Look at the problems you cannot ignore. Look at the people you are drawn to help. Look at the pain you survived that gave you language for somebody else's healing. You become undeniable when you stop imitating success and start obeying your original design. Not performing, not pretending, not pandering, obeying. There is a sound that only comes from alignment. There is authority that only comes when a person stands in the place they were manufactured to occupy. You do not have to compete when you are aligned. You do not have to copy when you are clear. You do not have to beg for space when your fruit begins to answer the problem you were born to solve. So refuse imitation. Refuse the pressure to become a duplicate. Refuse to let another person's harvest make you curse your seed. Refuse to let the crowd become your creator. Go back to the manufacturer. Go back to the design. Go back to the burden. Go back to the assignment. Ask God why He built you the way He built you. Ask Him what your life is supposed to carry. Ask Him where your obedience belongs. And once you accept your design, delay will stop feeling like rejection. You will no longer panic because someone else is moving faster. You will no longer despise the soil because another tree is taller. You will begin to understand that God is not denying you. He is preparing you. Because original design must be developed before it is displayed. And that brings us to the next rule. Let delay deepen you before visibility tests you. Rule number 5. Let delay deepen you before visibility tests you. Now hear me clearly, because this is where impatience destroys people who are actually on schedule. The delay is not denial. The wait is not waste. The hidden season is not punishment. Just because you are not visible does not mean you are not valuable. Just because doors have not opened does not mean God has forgotten your name. Just because the fruit has not appeared does not mean the seed is dead. Some of you are calling it rejection when heaven is calling it preparation. You are calling it slow when God is calling it deep. You are calling it silence when God is building a root system beneath the surface. A tree that will stand high must first grow deep. Remember that. Height without depth becomes collapse. Expansion without foundation becomes exposure. Visibility without roots becomes danger. Everybody wants branches. Everybody wants fruit. Everybody wants shade. Everybody wants the evidence above the ground. But before a tree can survive storms above the ground, it must develop strength beneath the ground. Roots do not receive applause. Roots do not trend. Roots do not get photographed. Roots are hidden, silent, buried, and unseen. But the entire future of the tree depends on what is happening in the dark. That is why you cannot curse your hidden season. You may not be buried to disappear. You may be planted to produce. Burial and planting look similar from the outside, but they are not the same thing. Burial is the end of a thing. Planting is the beginning of multiplication. Burial says it is over. Planting says it is becoming. Burial hides what is dead. Planting hides what is alive until it is ready to break through. Stop interpreting darkness as death when God may be using darkness as development. Pressure produces capacity. Do not miss that. God is not just preparing the stage for you, He is preparing you for the weight of the stage. You keep asking God to open the door, but God is asking, can you survive what comes through the door? You keep asking for influence, but God is asking, can your character carry influence? You keep asking for increase, but God is asking, can your discipline manage increase? You keep asking for visibility, but God is asking, can your identity survive being seen? Because the stage has weight. Attention has weight. Opportunity has weight. Blessing has weight. Favor has weight. If you arrive before your character is ready, what you call a blessing can become a burden. If you rush the process, you may arrive before your roots can sustain your branches. If you demand exposure before formation, visibility will not promote you, it will reveal you. And what it reveals may not be strength. It may reveal insecurity, pride, hunger for applause, emotional instability, spiritual shallowness, and motives that were never purified in private. Stop right there. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, but I have waited long enough. Maybe you have waited, but have you been formed? You are thinking, but other people are already ahead of me. Maybe they are visible, but visibility is not always proof of readiness. You are thinking, but I am tired of being hidden. I understand that. But tiredness does not cancel process. Emotion does not shorten formation. Impatience does not qualify you for weight. If God is deepening you, do not fight the shovel. Hidden seasons reveal motives. Obscurity asks questions. Applause cannot ask. Do you love the assignment, or do you only love the attention attached to it? Do you love obedience, or do you only love recognition? Do you love serving, or do you only love being seen serving? Do you love the work, or only the reward? Do you love God's purpose, or only the platform that may come with it? These are not small questions. These are destiny questions. Because if attention is your fuel, then obscurity will empty you. But if purpose is your fuel, obscurity will strengthen you. The hidden place strips performance from obedience. It removes the crowd so God can examine the heart. It removes the applause so God can test the motive. It removes the spotlight so God can strengthen the structure. You find out who you really are when nobody is impressed. You find out what you really believe when nobody is validating you. You find out whether your yes to God was real when the only thing holding you is conviction. Do not despise pressure. Pressure is not comfortable, but pressure is productive when purpose is present. Pressure turns coal into diamond. Pressure strengthens muscle. Pressure forces roots deeper into soil. Pressure exposes what is weak so it can be corrected before it becomes public failure. God is too wise to give you what your character cannot sustain. He is too loving to let premature visibility destroy what private formation was meant to protect. So be confident, but do not become casual. You are not forgotten, but you are being formed. You are not rejected, but you are being refined. You are not ignored, but you are being prepared. The wait is not wasted if you are growing in it. The delay is not denial if you are deepening in it. The hidden season is not punishment if you are allowing God to build capacity, humility, discipline, endurance, and clarity inside you. Let delay deepen you before visibility tests you. Let the roots grow. Let the motives be purified. Let the discipline become consistent. Let the identity become settled. Let the boundaries become strong. Let the assignment become clear. Do not rush to be seen when God is teaching you how to stand. Do not rush to be known when God is making you necessary. Do not rush to announce what your life is still becoming. Because when silence, discipline, boundaries, identity, and delay begin to work together, something powerful happens. You stop needing to promote yourself. You stop begging for attention. You stop chasing rooms that were not assigned to you. Your purpose begins to speak. Your fruit begins to testify. Your life begins to answer questions you no longer have to explain. And that is when purpose announces what performance can only advertise. And that is the revelation. Silence protects what God is forming. Discipline builds what desire can only imagine. Boundaries guard what casual people would contaminate. Identity directs what imitation would distort. Delay deepens what visibility would test. These 5 rules are not separate ideas. They are one system of formation. They are how God takes a person from insecurity to authority, from noise to fruit, from begging to becoming. Purpose announces you through fruit, not noise. Do not miss that. Advertisement can create attention, but only fruit creates trust. You can advertise a tree, but fruit proves the tree. You can print banners, make declarations, build a platform, polish an image, and design a beautiful public presentation, but if there is no fruit, people may look, but they will not trust. Attention is cheap. Trust is expensive. Attention can be purchased. Trust must be produced. Attention can come from noise. Trust comes from evidence. That is why performance is exhausting. Performance has to keep explaining itself. Performance has to keep convincing people. Performance has to keep begging to be believed. Performance says, look at me. Fruit says, taste and see. Performance argues. Fruit answers. Performance shouts. Fruit remains. Performance needs applause to feel alive. Fruit feeds people even when nobody claps. Stop right there. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, but if I do not promote myself, nobody will know what I carry. No, that is not what I am saying. I am not telling you to be passive. I am not telling you to hide from responsibility. I am not telling you to bury your gift in false humility. I am telling you to stop confusing noise with evidence. I am telling you to build something so real, so excellent, so useful, so consistent, so aligned with your assignment that your life becomes the announcement. There is a difference between public proof and public performance. Public performance is when you step forward trying to convince people you are something. Public proof is when you step forward carrying the evidence of what has already been formed in private. One begs for credibility, the other carries credibility. One needs constant explanation, the other produces results. One is anxious, the other is steady. One is addicted to being seen, the other is committed to serving well. Respect follows results. Remember that. Respect does not follow desperate explanation. Respect does not follow emotional speeches about your potential. Respect does not follow how many times you tell people you are called, gifted, anointed, chosen, ready, different, and misunderstood. At some point, your life must become evidence. At some point, your work must speak. At some point, your consistency must testify. At some point, your fruit must make the argument unnecessary. When your life becomes evidence, you do not have to keep defending your calling. You do not have to keep explaining your season to people who never understood your seed. You do not have to keep proving your value to those committed to misunderstanding your process. Fruit has a voice. Excellence has a voice. Service has a voice. Consistency has a voice. Character has a voice. And when those voices begin to speak together, even people who doubted you have to recognize that something real has been built. This is the mature form of influence. Mature influence does not chase every room. It does not panic when it is not invited. It does not beg for seats at tables where assignment has not sent it. Mature influence serves with excellence where it is planted. It solves problems. It carries responsibility. It shows up consistently. It becomes dependable. It becomes necessary. And then assignment begins to make room. Not manipulation, not striving, not begging. Assignment. Do not confuse humility with smallness. Moving in silence does not mean playing small. Building quietly does not mean thinking weakly. Guarding your process does not mean denying your gift. Silence is not smallness. Silence is strength under construction. Humility is not pretending you have nothing. Humility is knowing that what you have came from God and must be developed with discipline. You can be humble and bold. You can be quiet and powerful. You can be hidden and growing. You can move without noise and still build with authority. So stop advertising what has no fruit. Stop performing what has no root. Stop explaining what your discipline has not yet produced. Build until there is evidence. Serve until there is trust. Practice until there is excellence. Grow until there is weight. Let your purpose become visible through usefulness, not through desperation. But now you must understand the next responsibility. Purpose will announce fruit, but purpose will not announce laziness. Purpose will not promote excuses. Purpose will not endorse inconsistency. Purpose will not carry a person who refuses to build. So if you want your life to speak, you must accept responsibility for what you were born to carry. Stop blaming the absence of support for the absence of movement. Stop blaming the lack of a platform for the lack of preparation. Stop blaming people who did not clap, doors that did not open, invitations that did not come, and names that did not mention you. At some point, responsibility must interrupt your excuses. At some point, you must stop using neglect as a hiding place. At some point, you must admit that God did not ask them to obey your assignment. He asked you. You do not need permission to obey the purpose God already placed inside you. Stop right there. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, but nobody helped me. You are thinking, but nobody believed in me. You are thinking, but I do not have the money, the connections, the audience, the recognition, the resources, the room. Listen to me. Support is helpful, but support is not the source. A platform is useful, but a platform is not the purpose. Applause feels good, but applause is not authorization. Recognition may confirm what is built, but recognition cannot build it for you. If you keep waiting for people to authorize what God already assigned, you will spend your life standing outside doors you were born to build. That is where many people are trapped. They are standing at doors begging for entry when they have the tools to build. They are waiting for somebody to call their name when purpose has already called their spirit. They are waiting for a leader, a friend, a parent, a pastor, a crowd, a committee, a system, a company, a market, or an audience to say, now you may begin. No, that is bondage disguised as patience. That is fear disguised as humility. That is insecurity disguised as wisdom. Nobody owns your assignment but the manufacturer who gave it to you. Your gift is your responsibility. Your discipline is your responsibility. Your peace is your responsibility. Your obedience is your responsibility. Your growth is your responsibility. Your focus is your responsibility. Your healing is your responsibility. Your preparation is your responsibility. You cannot outsource obedience. You cannot delegate discipline. You cannot blame another person for the field you refuse to cultivate. If God gave you seed, then you are responsible for soil. If God gave you vision, then you are responsible for structure. If God gave you burden, then you are responsible for action. Do not tell me you are waiting for the right time when you are wasting the time you have. Do not tell me you are waiting for more resources when you have not mastered the resources in your hand. Do not tell me you are waiting for people to understand when obedience rarely makes sense as spectators in the beginning. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start before they understand. Start before they approve. Start before it is impressive. Start before it looks polished. Start before anyone knows your name. Start when the room is small, the budget is low, the schedule is tight, and the only applause you hear is conviction in your own spirit saying, keep going. Movement in silence is not passivity. Do not misunderstand me. I am not telling you to sit down and call your fear peace. I am not telling you to hide and call your laziness wisdom. I am not telling you to disappear because you are afraid of criticism. Silent building is active construction without emotional dependence on public reaction. It is studying while they are scrolling. It is praying while they are performing. It is training while they are talking. It is saving while they are spending. It is serving while they are posing. It is healing while they are blaming. It is becoming stable while they are chasing stimulation. Silence does not mean nothing is happening. Silence means construction is happening without announcement. Silence means your roots are working before your branches are visible. Silence means your discipline is becoming stronger than your desire to be validated. Silence means you can obey without needing a witness. That is maturity. Anybody can work when people are watching. Anybody can perform when people are praising. But the person who becomes undeniable is the person who can keep building when there is no evidence except obedience, no response except resistance, no audience except God. So choose one hidden discipline now, not tomorrow, not when the year changes, not when you feel inspired, now. Choose study, choose prayer, choose skill building, choose health, choose financial order, choose emotional maturity, choose leadership, choose service, choose the one discipline you keep postponing because nobody sees it. Choose the one private habit that would change the weight of your public life if you practice it consistently. Stop trying to fix everything at once so you can excuse doing nothing. Pick the discipline, name it, schedule it, protect it, practice it until it becomes part of your nature. Because your future will not be built by emotion. It will be built by decisions repeated in private. Your assignment will not be carried by intention. It will be carried by discipline. Your life will not become necessary because you wanted it badly. It will become necessary because you obey it consistently. Desire without discipline is frustration. Vision without structure is fantasy. Revelation without obedience is entertainment. And that is where this teaching must now turn into a decision. You have heard enough to be responsible. You cannot unhear this. You cannot go back to pretending that the problem is only who did not support you. You cannot keep blaming the door when God placed tools in your hand. The question is no longer who will recognize me. The question is, will I build? The question is no longer who will give me permission. The question is, will I obey? The question is no longer when will they see me. The question is, what am I becoming while I am unseen? Because the 5 rules are not ideas to admire, they are standards to live. And if silence, discipline, boundaries, identity, and preparation do not become your new standard, this will only inspire you for a moment and leave you unchanged. But if you decide now to build what you were born to carry, quietly, faithfully, consistently, then your life will begin to speak with a weight that noise could never manufacture. So now the 5 rules must become your new standard. Not your notes. Not your favorite quotes. Not something you heard and admired. Your standard. Because inspiration that does not become instruction will leave you emotional and unchanged. You do not need another moment that makes you feel powerful while you keep living undisciplined. You do not need another word that excites your spirit while your habits remain weak. You need a standard. You need a line. You need a decision that says, from this day forward, I will not live addicted to visibility. I will live submitted to purpose. Stop announcing what has not been built. Build discipline where nobody is clapping. Guard the blueprint from critics who were never assigned to build. Refuse imitation and return to your original design. Let delay deepen you before visibility tests you. These are not suggestions for people who want attention. These are requirements for people who want to carry assignment. Attention is cheap. Assignment is costly. Attention asks for performance. Assignment demands formation. Attention can be gained in a moment, but assignment must be carried through seasons, pressure, silence, correction, obedience, and private decisions nobody celebrates. Do not misunderstand me. I am not telling you to disappear. I am telling you to stop depending on being seen before you become serious. I am telling you to stop letting the crowd become the measurement of your obedience. I am telling you to move quietly, decide daily, protect your peace, obey your design, and let your results testify. For the next season of your life, stop explaining everything. Stop posting everything. Stop defending everything. Stop asking everybody what they think about what God told you to build. Get quiet. Get focused. Get disciplined. Get aligned. Every day, make the decision again. When nobody claps, build. When nobody calls, build. When nobody understands, build. When they misread your silence, build. When they overlook your effort, build. When the process feels slow, build. When your emotions want attention, choose obedience. When your insecurity wants applause, choose discipline. When comparison tries to pull you out of your lane, return to your design. This is how you become weighty. This is how you become useful. This is how your life becomes necessary. And hear me clearly, God is not wasting your hidden work. The prayer nobody heard is not wasted. The study nobody saw is not wasted. The tears you wiped and kept going are not wasted. The discipline you practiced when nobody celebrated you is not wasted. The boundaries you set, the peace you protected, the temptation you resisted, the skill you sharpened, the obedience you repeated in silence, none of it is wasted. The work done in silence will speak when it is mature enough to carry sound. So do not chase attention. Become necessary. Do not beg for validation. Become fruitful. Do not perform for people who cannot define you. Obey the one who designed you. When silence and discipline become your standard, purpose will announce what performance never could. If this word called you back to purpose, subscribe and stay connected to teachings that help you become disciplined, useful, and aligned with God's original design. And put your declaration in the comments. Say, I will build in silence. Say, I will guard my assignment. Say, I will let purpose announce me. Do not chase attention. Do not beg for validation. Do not perform for people who cannot define you. Build yourself silently. Walk in discipline and let purpose announce what God has been forming all along.